Let us now demonstrate how to crop, cut specific areas of the 3D image and convert to slab and MIP type projections. Notice we've selected an area as we have sliced and examined the axial and the coronal images in the right maxilla area. Looks like a little abscess. Then we have an area on 3D that we are going to evaluate and cut out further. Now, to make cuts, one method is to take the broken lines on the outer peripheral edges of the CT boxes. For instance, here we're looking at the right side, so we really can get away with just cutting away the left. Well, we could do that from either the axial or the coronal screens. Doesn't really matter. All we need to do is put our arrow on the broken line, left click, drag it to the center. Same thing, we can do it from the axial screen. Left click on the broken line, move it to the center or just to the right of that. And there we have the 3D image that has been cut away from the left side has been cut. So now all we're looking at is the right side. We can look at it from the left side, or we can click on the letter R and look at it from the right side, and we can get a great understanding of this particular area at this point. Now, we won't stay here. We can further redefine our cuts even more. Let's say we want to get rid of the mandible. Well, we can go either to the coronal or the sagittal screen, put the arrow on the broken lines, lift upward, cut away the mandible, and then we have only the right maxilla remaining. So we can take a look at this 3D image. We can double click it and we can evaluate it with just the maxilla, right maxilla in position. Now to return to the original position, you can hit the reset button. However, that just changes the position of the images. You must go back to the broken lines and drag them back to the outer peripheral edges of the CT frames. And that takes you back to the 3D image in its full field of view mode. Now the other method for cutting or cropping is by using the mask tab. Notice where my arrow is. I'm clicking on the mask tab on the right frame, and at this point we will also bring in the shift key. Okay, so we're going to hold the shift key down. Let's double click our 3D image first, rotate it very slightly so that we have isolated the right upper maxilla. Then by holding the shift key down, we're going to get a little lasso rope, it looks like, and what we could stay in an occlusal plane and just sort of cut away. It has to be a nice, fairly big section so that we can see the relationship of the dentition, both mesial and distal to this point. Once we've cut out, we can release our shift key and move to the icon here, the tab called reverse. Okay, so now we've reversed it, and so all we have is the section that we cut away. Now we can also cut further if we want to make an additional cut. Well, we can bring the shift key back into position, hold it down, and we can make a further cut, and we can cut out even more unwanted sections and just leave the sections that we wish to remain. Once we release the shift key, then we have the section only that we wish to maintain. Let's say you make a mistake in the way you cut. For instance, let's do another cutaway of a section. Let's say we were going to really cut this section and we make it, oops, we kind of cut it too short. Well, what we can do is go back to the right side, click the undo button on the right, and that will get rid of the last section that we cut away. The last cutaway that we did will restore it back to that position. We could continue selecting the undo key. It takes us back to the next previous step that we've cut away, or to go back to the very beginning, just clear. Hit the clear button under the mask, and then you can go back to the original full 3D mode position. Another method to cut away is by holding the control key down instead of the shift key. If you hold the control key down, you're going to get looks like a little light bulb with the arrow. Just click the dots, spread them apart a little bit, and one could be perhaps a little more precise if you wish to cut away a section. And just kind of clicking with the left click of the mouse, okay, and you can even extend out a little bit by grabbing one of the green dots and moving in this direction here. Okay, then you can release the control key, and by clicking on the cut key, we're able to cut away a section here. And by hitting the reverse key, we're able to get this section in here. And hit reverse again, and you can just go back and forth like a toggle. Okay. The same applies for undo and clear, and so that's pretty much the easiest way of cutting away a particular section on the 3D that you wish. Now let's talk about Slab. Slab is the tab just next to Mask. When you select Slab, you have to click the Slab box. What we're doing is the ability to reslice in 3D. So once we click Slab, we have adjusted our slice thickness. Now, with the 3D setting, we have the slice thickness that defaults right now to 10 millimeters. We could change this by a number of ways. We can click the up arrow and extend out the slab. This is your default slab in millimeters. Or you may just scroll the sliding bar, which I kind of like. It's the easiest. And once you release it, tells you what your number is here. The numbers below give you a quick method of selecting what your default frame would be for, or your slice thickness. One can click 10 millimeters, 5, which becomes a 5 millimeter cut here, or you can just scroll the bar and click 1. Now, once you have done this, you can continue to scroll, and you can continue window leveling. You can also apply different templates as well. Some templates look better in Slab than others. Okay, like I think the 3D Perio looks a little bit better. And not only can you slab it, but you can rotate it, and you can slab with the middle wheel, slice down to see the roots. Okay, and you get a better look here at this what looks like the abscess region. Now, I highly recommend for Slab to once we're in Slab, I would suggest more so than 3D, change it to a MIP. Once we click MIP on the bottom, MIP means maximum intensity projection. It's just a fancy name for converting it to a slabbed CT image. Okay, so it looks a little bright once you click MIP. No worries, just click tooth 1 or 2 or soft, and you can get the image looking very nice. Okay, once again, we're in, let's say, the foot projection. We know this is the right side. We click the letter R. Okay, and what's our slab? Our slab is at 1. See, so we can use our middle wheel and scroll, or we can build it up a little bit by adding the surrounding texture or the surrounding dentition. So if one wants a thin or a thick slice, it's all personal preference. See? And I'm just using the middle wheel to scroll. Then we can kind of rotate upward. The beauty of changing it from a 3D to a MIP is that you retain the 3D capabilities of rotation. And that is so key because you can look at any area and just elongate it any way you can move your wrist and rotate. See, you can look at this area that you've cut away. And so, highly recommended to change from 3D to a MIP. Now, to get out of all this, what you do, just uncheck Slab box. You can go back to Mask, go back to Clear. Okay, change back to 3D. All right, and then you should be able to come out of this, go back to Template, and then go back to your default settings, reset, go up here maybe to the template you wish, and you're back to where you want to be with the 3D. So just a quick review again. Remember, once you hit Mask, you just select if you wish to use the Shift key and cut away with a little lasso type rope with the Shift key, or you can go and use the Control key. And the Control key gives you, again, the ability to drop little green dots around the section you wish to cut out. And just hit Cut and hit Reverse. And there is your section that you wish. Okay? So that's cutting and cropping, and you'll find it very helpful to your experiences using and evaluating specific areas in the dentition, and allows you to rotate a 3D image, which is probably the most beneficial portion of changing from a CT to a MIP.